to the Nest Podcast, your home for nerd entertainment and sports talk, where your hosts, Brandon and Zach, hash out what's happening in video games and sports every week. Enjoy the show!
Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to another episode of the Nest Podcast. This is episode number 63, the Gene Upshot episode presented by Sportzilla. I'm your host, Brandon, and joining me as always, my co-hosts, Zach and Justin. Fellas, we have had refs fucking games up left and right lately. I mean, most notably, it started off Monday night whenever Lions got fucked by the Packers. You know, it seems like forever ago now, but it snowballed the entire week to where it was just bad ref call after bad ref call. I don't know what's going on. Refgate 2019 is in full effect, though.
Oh, yeah. It happened Friday in high school, happened Saturday in college, and then it carried through to the NFL all weekend.
You know, it's pretty bad whenever players are openly tweeting about the officiating and saying, like, hey, there's some bullshit going on. And then the league offices are going to turn around and fine the players. Did you see that shit for Clay Matthews?
Sure did.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
And, you know, like you said, in college, Lane Kiffin also got fined for talking about the officiating. So it's not just the fans that are complaining. You know, for the longest time when I would hear people like, oh, the refs blew the game for us, I was like, oh, well, you're just a sore loser. Your team lost and you're blaming somebody else. But now it's gotten to the point where no shit, refs are costing teams games on bad calls.
Yeah, I know there's a thing on Facebook that I saw earlier. It said every questionable call during the Alabama-Tennessee game, there was like 25 of them for Alabama. Like the ref would be putting the ball down, like where it's marked. He literally turned around and looked at the first down marker and picked it up and moved it so it's a first down. Stuff like that. It's getting a little out of hand. I think, I don't know, man. I honestly think the pockets are getting fat for the refs through other teams, and it's starting to show.
Well, I mean, that's one of the things that I saw is somebody, I forget who it was, but they called out the refs and said, I want to see bank accounts. I want to see their bank records because they think that a lot of these guys are getting paid off. There's already the rumors floating around that people are placing large bets on certain groups of officials in the NFL.
Jeez.
I mean, that
I would think it'd be pretty easy to pay off a ref too. Like that's not something that you would have to hide very well. You know?
Yeah, because nobody's watching them like an NFL player. You know, you can just go to their house and
exactly. I couldn't even name 3 refs in the league anyway, so they don't get any notoriety really, unless they're just god awful or they do something crazy.
Right. It's like, you know, MLB umpires like Angel Hernandez because he sucks.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Because everybody gets pissed off at him, you know?
Yep.
And that's the thing is, like, bad officiating seems to be across the board.
Oh,
It's been terrible in baseball all season long. It's been terrible in football through, like, what, week 7, I think, week 6, whatever it is that we just finished up. 7, right? I don't know. I think it's week 7. Whatever. Fuck it. So it's been bad half the season already. And one would think that shit's going to continue on to the next year.
Right.
Let me ask, if these players were continuously fucking up and doing like bad shit, like fumbling the ball or, you know, just throwing pick after pick after pick, I'm talking to you, Andy Dalton, fucking... You would think they wouldn't have a job, right?
Yeah.
Eventually.
They would get cut. They would get fired. They would get replaced. Why the fuck aren't we doing this with the refs?
I don't think there's enough of them, man. There's a shortage of referees. I know, which this is just for little guys, but talking to Jason Sally, you know, that does Little League, World Series and all that, and he was saying they don't even have enough refs to get into, like, he might have, like, maybe a room full of, like, 5 to ref the whole year. And they're trying to get people like, you know, used to, a lot of people wanted to do the job. and now they don't. So a lot of these older refs are retiring, and there's not enough people behind them to step in.
You think that's a money issue? Like they're not getting paid enough to make a career out of it?
I think it's a stress issue, man. Like even as little as kids, man, the refs are getting yelled at, screamed at, threatened. I mean, who wants to
I
do that?
wholeheartedly think that is a money issue.
It might be that too, yeah.
Because it starts from the level that you're talking about, Justin. Who is going to stand there and give up their Saturday and Sunday to be berated by asshole parents for $50 a fucking day?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nobody. Like college kids are doing it for beer money. That's about it.
Yeah, they get $10 a game.
Yeah, that's insane.
If you treated youth sports with a little bit more prestige and actually treated it more like a league instead of just a grab ass organization, paid your umpires, got a more class business model going, I guarantee that the trickle up effect would happen with the umpires and stuff. Of course, it would have to be across the board. MLB and spread it across the board. NFL, NBA, all these organizations that make millions and millions of dollars. They should be turning around and trickling in the money into fucking middle of nowhere, like youth organizations and stuff like that. You know, I don't know why the Charlotte Hornets haven't helped out several like counties in and around the Charlotte area to boost up their boys and girls.
Mm-hmm.
That should be something that's just common sense, but they don't fucking do it because nobody's making them do it.
Yeah.
That
You're
makes
right.
sense.
I mean, that's where it starts. You can't ref college or pro football until you ref pee wee football, until you ref flag football, until you've basically, done everything below that. That's not one of the jobs you can just step into because you have knowledge of the game. You have to know where to be standing. You have to know where to run to. You have to know your spot. Like nowadays in basketball, they don't even wear uniforms. They just wear like shorts and some Nikes and a shirt. And then halftime, they won't even run down the court. Like they'll just stay down the court and blow the whistle. You can't see the game from that. And those type of people will never make it anywhere in refereeing. Like you said, they just want some beer money, just make a few extra dollars. But I don't know. They don't, because of that, like you said, they don't want them, they don't have enough going up. So it needs, like you said, it needs to start at the young age, at the youth league, youth level, or maybe even have programs out there to where like a pro team takes on applicants, right? Teaches them how to ref, and then they go and volunteer their time until they get to where they need to be so they can ref these games.
You get certified or something?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a brilliant idea. You know, I bet there are tons of diehard fans that if their team offered a chance, like, hey, through our organization, become a ref or whatever, they would love to do something like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
For sure. I think if this kind of thing doesn't happen, where like we said, either trickle down or trickle up, whichever way it goes, if the sustainability of a career in refereeing doesn't occur, I think they're just going to be replaced by some sort of computer. Because I mean, that's already almost about to happen in MLB. So it's going to just start spreading if it does happen in MLB.
Well, you could easily do that for football too. You know, the white line that everybody's always concerned. Did he touch it or not? That could be easily replaced with the same technology that they've had in bowling alleys since the 1950s.
Oh yeah.
As soon as you cross that line, there's a buzzer and it goes off.
Yep. Just flood the field with a bunch of sensors and put sensors in the ball. And if the ball doesn't cross whatever sensor, then he didn't make it or whatever.
And as far as, you know, the holding penalties and things like that happen between player to player contact, how many times are you watching the game and the commentators are calling the penalties before the refs even announce it? It's clearly visible to people that know the game to see these penalties in real time from watching it on TV or watching it from an aerial perspective. I could definitely see that being phased out entirely.
They already go to New York for replays.
Right.
So
Right.
what's the difference for them, having Zach watch the offensive line the whole game, letting Brandon watch the wide receivers the whole game, and making me watch something else? We can
Right.
do it from the comfort of our own home.
Yep, that too, or some sort of like computer program where you code it to say if this player does this specific thing, then send an alert or whatever that's a penalty. There's a bunch of ways that you could do it where you don't need some dude in a Foot Locker shirt on the field throwing his flag around.
They have to change the way they play.
It'll all go away eventually, though, because of the outrage of, that fucking ref cost my team a chance to go to the championship, or that they cost us the game, or whatever it is. As long as there's that outrage, there's going to be a drive to try to change it. MLB's already moving in that process with the robo ump. And from what I've heard in the Atlantic League, it had a great success rate. Everybody liked it. And they're going to continue to implement that and put it in more leagues across the country throughout minor leagues. And then eventually it's going to make its way to the majors.
Yeah, it's hard to argue against damn near perfection, which is what these AI umpires are toting.
So if that's the case, then you're really going to see a drain on the umpire pool, because who's going to go into a profession that stops at the college level?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think any of those umpires set out to become umpires just to do minor league games. They want to make it to the show, just like the players.
Yeah, I mean that there are people in the Hall of Fame for umpiring.
Yeah.
You know what I'm afraid is going to happen? I'm afraid it's going to keep going, and the umpires are going to have another strike. You remember the replacement refs a while back? How terrible they were.
Yeah, and it was bad. And, I got into a conversation on Sportszilla the other day with one of the guys that was saying that it was actually because of the Packer-Lion game. They were talking about the worst fuck-ups of refs, and he was saying that the Fail Mary was the worst ref fuck-up of all time when it was a Monday Night Football game against the Seahawks and the Packers, and it was a ball that was intercepted by the Packers in the end zone at the end of the game, but it was called a touchdown for the Seahawks, and the Seahawks won the game. Terrible call, but that was the play that effectively ended that ref strike. That's when the scab refs were no longer and the real refs came back or whatever, but they've been just as fucking bad. Mm-hmm. And I argued that the more egregious call was in the NFC Championship game against the Saints.
Yeah, that was terrible.
That was on a bigger stage, and you don't have the excuse of that was a scab ref. That was the real refs that you wanted back that made that bad call.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So anyway, I feel like I won that argument, but that's neither here nor there. It seems like this week people either had hurt feelings or they got hurt. And Patrick Mahomes going down was a biggie. Tua going down in college, biggie. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've seen injury after injury after injury this year. That's been a theme, But
yeah. And I heard today that Meyer for Tennessee, the little freshman that's been doing good, he won't be playing against South Carolina this week. He's already out. Well, so that's another week of JG.
That means that's another loss for Tennessee.
Either JG or Schrute, the freshman, TJ Schrute.
I hope they put in him.
I'd take Jennings. Jennings was a quarterback in high school. I'd run the Wildcat the whole game, and I would just put it in the hands of my senior that time and time again shows that he can do it.
JG came so highly recruited and highly sought after.
Yeah, number one.
But he ain't shit.
No, he's garbage. He's the reason we've lost every game.
Every game that he's played in that we've lost, it's because of him. And notably in the Alabama game, he took it on himself, on his own, to try to run that quarterback sneak. Mm-hmm. And he executed it terribly because he tried to jump over the pile instead of following the blockers in the end zone like you should anyway.
Well, not only that, nobody was blocking that way.
Right. They pulled around because they were opening a hole on the left side.
Yeah, and Ty Smith, one of arguably the best linemen in the country, had a huge hole on the left side. He could have walked in.
Yep.
And I don't know. I was so pissed off when that happened. And then when I saw the replay of that hole, and I saw all the running backs going to the left, and then I saw JG going forward, then everybody wants to scream that, oh, Pruitt shouldn't have grabbed his face. No, Pruitt should have took his helmet off and kicked his ass off the field and told him to go home.
Yeah. That's one of those, hey, you're no longer on this team. You're cut. Get the fuck out of here. You don't make a call on your own on the 1 yard line whenever you're trying to make it a 1-score game against the number 1 team in the country.
Absolutely.
Because we fought the hell out of Alabama, dude.
And we said that last week. We said don't be surprised if Tennessee gives Alabama a game, and by God, they fucking did. But JG in the end cost us the game because in that play, it's a 14-point swing because you take a touchdown off the board for Tennessee, and Alabama took it 100 yards the other way for a touchdown.
Yep.
In 7-8 seconds. Boom. 14-point swing. And yeah, you're right. People are getting on Pruitt's case about the way that he mishandled his players or whatever. No. Fuck that.
Mm-hmm.
That
Did you see
kid
that letter from a parent?
No, I didn't. I'm sure it's all Mothers of America bullshit, but
No, it's awesome. It's from a recruit coming next year.
Oh, good.
And he said, Coach Pruitt, he said, you have my permission to grab my kid, knock him down, shake him, whatever you got to do to make him a football player. He said, I'm giving you my kid to make him a man and a warrior, not to make him keep him as a kid.
Right.
I mean, awesome.
They're not China dolls. They're fucking football players. They go out there and hit each other as hard as they can. You're telling me that this kid can't handle a little face mask?
Not only that, this dude is 21 years old, I think. He's a junior in college.
Yeah.
So he's around 21. If a military person goes overseas and directly disobeys a superior and gets somebody fucking killed, they're going to get more than just a little bit of a shake on a helmet.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, think about it like that. Like, this is a fucking game, and that was the reaction. It's justified. If he was disobeying a direct order somewhere else, he's going to get fucked up. If he does that in a job, he's going to get fired.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah,
He should be glad that that's all he fucking got.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't think it was bad. And I saw this weekend, I went to Elizabeth and Greenville game, which the Cyclones won. Now they're number 1 in the state.
Yeah, for those of you that listen, because we have listeners that aren't just Tri-Cities, Justin.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you that listen that are out of the area, Elizabethton High School is the home of NFL soon-to-be Hall of Famer Jason Witten. And Justin went to high school there, and he's really big in the local high school scene. So for them to beat the then number 1 ranked Greenville High School is a really fucking big deal.
Yeah, Greenville hasn't lost a conference game since 2007.
Wow.
And they've won state 3 out of the last 4 years. But Sean, the reason I'm bringing it up is a kid didn't go on the field when he was supposed to, and it was during a punt. And Sean grabbed the kid, right, and got him on the field. Well, when the kid was going out, Sean pushed him on the back real hard. And this kid fell down twice trying to get out of the field. Sean basically knocked him down. He couldn't get up. It was hilarious. We were all laughing. We didn't think that was a big deal, but Pruitt barely grabs the face mask, and it's huge.
But you've seen more and more of that on social media of like parents flipping out and catching these coaches' reactions on videos. There've been coaches that resigned and were suspended for their actions. Some of them were justified, some weren't. I saw one coach had to resign or step down because he tackled a streaker that was running across the field.
That's so stupid.
And it's like that coach didn't need to be on the field, blah blah blah, and he had to quit being the head coach of the football team because he fucking Goldberg speared this kid. But I mean, fuck it, that kid was being a jackass. He deserved it.
Yeah, the coach shouldn't have been on the field, so I'd rather had a dude slinging his dick around my kid out on the field instead.
Right, exactly.
What's the difference between the coach tackling somebody and a security guard? Just job title?
That's it. 100%.
Ridiculous.
Anyway, let's talk about what actually happened this week. fucking, I want to talk about Patrick Mahomes. Probably going to be out 3 to 6 weeks. That's a significant chunk of the season. He's aiming for trying to get back on the earlier side of that, around the 3-week mark. That might be a mistake.
Absolutely.
Yeah, stay out.
He's been limping for a couple weeks already.
Right. I was listening to the locker room talk earlier, and they brought up a good point. He's already got that left ankle injury. He's been limping around on that for a while. Now he has the right knee injury. So you've got 2 bad wheels, essentially. The name of his game is mobility. He has to be able to move around in the pocket. If not, he's going to be a sitting duck. If the pocket breaks down, he's going to get crushed. Coming back too soon from this injury might lead to a more serious injury. They had Chris's wife on their episode, and she's a nurse, and she was talking about a lot of athletes having repeated injury because of that exact scenario where they rush back, they inject the cortisone shots in their knees over and over and over again. It never has time to truly heal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you hear that a lot. Players will just load up on pain pills and shit on game day, and then try to nurse it throughout the week, and then just do it all over again, and it never really heals because you just keep slowly destroying it.
And they seen Varsity Blues.
No shit, right? Tweeter?
Man, don't stick that needle in his knee.
Yeah. I mean, he should realize that this year is not the Chiefs' year. Like, they're not projected to win it all anymore, I don't think. So if it were me, I would heal up, take the 6 weeks or whatever they suggest, and just get fully healed, man, because he's still young. He still has a long career ahead of him. And if this shit starts happening, he's going to go the RG3 route.
Yeah. And nobody wants that. I shit on Mahomes because I hate that they're shoving him down our throats, but I never wish a guy to get hurt.
Sure.
Justin, we were talking about JG kind of calling his own audible and doing his own thing on his quarterback sneak. In this situation with Mahomes, it looks like that it was Andy Reid that called the play. Go ahead and get the sneak, get the first down. We'll keep going for the touchdown. Knowing that he already had a bum leg going into the game, do you think it's Andy Reid's fault? Does he have to take some of the blame, or was this just a freak accident?
If you're healthy enough to get out there and you want to play, then
you put it on Mahomes then.
Yeah, you got to take the consequences that come with that.
Okay.
Just like like you said, it happens all the time. People go out there and they shouldn't be playing. They get hurt again. Well, guess what? They're grown men. They can say, no, I'm not ready to play.
Yep. I also think that kind of shows how little confidence they have in LaShawn McCoy for their running back. I mean, you would think that'd be a doable play for a running back to get, and they decided to go with their quarterback. So
now, I mean, the quarterback sneak is a lost art in the NFL. The 2 guys that use it more than anybody else are the 2 oldest quarterbacks in the league, Tom Brady and Drew Brees. I mean,
they also know how to stay behind their people too and not get out there.
That's what I was also going to say. Tom didn't invent the quarterback sneak, but he's fucking perfected it.
Yeah.
Anytime that there's a 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, you know what's coming. Everybody knows what's coming, but you can't stop it.
Yeah.
They should just quit now and call it the TB sneak.
Brandon and I discussed, I think it was on Sportzilla, a funny stat where Tom Brady has 3 rushing touchdowns and 3 rushing yards.
That's crazy.
Well, that's how you do it,
Yeah, hey, it's 6 regardless.
Yeah. That's it. And the Patriot way is it doesn't matter who gets in the end zone as long as at the end of the night the scoreboard's lit up in your favor.
Absolutely.
That's something that they've kept doing, and I don't know if the Chiefs can keep winning without Mahomes. They're sitting atop of the AFC West right now, and it's pretty comfortable, but they've got some games coming up that might be challenging with that backup. Matt Moore is that's filling in while Patrick Mahomes recovers. And Kansas City has said they're not shopping for anybody else. That's their guy until Pat comes back. So
Never even heard of that dude's name.
He played with Carolina for the longest time. He's a more than capable backup. He's definitely not a Patrick Mahomes. He's not going to be running around and stuff, but he's not bad. He's a pretty good little quarterback, and they can win with him. They just need to change their plays up, and they need to set it for more and not try to keep the same plays that Mahomes runs. That's good coaching.
A lot of coaches really suck at stuff like that, but I think Andy Reid has enough offensive creativity to be able to find something to make it work for Matt Moore, and I think they'll be fine. Do I think they'll go into Lambeau and beat the Packers? Fine. No. That's going to be tough, but
they'll still make the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, just like Teddy Bridgewater in New Orleans, that he went 5-0 since he's been in. I think it could be a similar case in Kansas City where he goes 2-1, 2-2, something like that, while Patrick Mahomes is out recovering.
You don't have to do much. Like you said, they're pretty comfortable. I think if he can just get a couple wins, they'll be more than fine. And like I said, Matt Moore's been in the league for a long time. You hadn't heard of him a lot because he's not really got that opportunity. But when he has in the past, because he was behind Cam Newton for a little bit, he always did pretty decent. I mean, he's not, he's not the greatest quarterback. He ain't no Tom Brady or nothing. But I think you'll see a lot of short to intermediate passing. They'll use a lot of their speed. A lot of Tyreek Hill, a lot of Sean McCoy. If you want Sean McCoy, I'd say now's a good time to maybe trade for him, even though he hadn't done nothing. Get him cheap.
Yeah, he's going to be definitely used a lot more now.
Yeah, because you're going to see a lot of him and a lot of Tyreek Hill over the next few weeks.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right about that. They've got to switch up the game plan, and hell, if you're like me and you've got two shit quarterbacks as your starters, Matt Moore might be a good one to snatch up off the waiver wire.
He's got weapons. And I took Kelsey first pick. Kelsey ain't really done nothing this year.
He really hasn't.
Yeah, he's been very quiet.
Maybe, I mean, he's always got me something, but nothing like he usually does.
No, it's not like last year when he was putting up 22 a game.
Yeah, I'm hoping Matt Moore brings it out in him because Matt Moore's going to need that safety blanket.
That's true. So I mentioned, Teddy Bridgewater going 5-0 since he's been the quarterback in New Orleans. All rumors are saying that Drew Brees is trying to come back for next week. What kind of blowback do you think we would hear if in the first game back Drew Brees struggles?
No.
I don't know. Probably none because of Drew Brees' status as a player. But you got to wonder if he kind of struggles. Do you think they'd put Teddy Bridgewater out there again and say, "Hey, Drew, let's give you another week to get ready," or are they just going to throw it all on Drew's shoulders?
They let him play it out. He could take a shit on that field and he'd still be the Saints guy. He's earned it. It's just like if Tom Brady did the same thing, he's earned it. He could go out there and literally punt the ball backward just for the hell of it and laugh about it. And they'd say, "Good job, Tom. Good job, Drew." I mean, that's their guy. I don't care. Bridgewater basically opened himself up for a starting job next year. That's why he's playing.
Yeah, that's true. But
backup,
and he also signed an extension as a backup in New Orleans. So they would have to trade him in order for him to start somewhere. With the way that he played, I might want to hang on to him because Drew Brees, let's face it, he's got to retire sometime.
Yeah, it's got to be in the next 2 years.
And I think they held on to Teddy Bridgewater for that reason.
That's a smart move.
The thing is, Bridgewater's kind of getting older too.
He's aging, sitting on the bench. That's the reason the Pats traded Garoppolo away, because he was just a wasted talent sitting there.
I would maybe, while he's got stock, I would maybe trade him for a good high pick. Maybe go ahead and take one of the top quarterbacks coming out this year, because there's quite a few that are coming out this year. I mean, you got Jalen Hurts, you got Tua, you maybe got Sunshine from Clemson. I call him Sunshine.
He's a sophomore.
He's a sophomore, yeah, he is a sophomore. But still, there's quite a few quarterbacks coming out this year. I would rather do that than have a guy that I might bring in to play 2-3 years before he retires too. jump on the train, man. He's worth money right now.
While we're talking about New Orleans quarterbacks, I want to ask you, why the hell is Taysom Hill listed as a quarterback?
He plays everything, man. He's a beast. He plays punt returner, quarterback, receiver.
You should be able to put that guy as a flex on fantasy.
Yeah, I like Taysom.
He plays everything. It's ridiculous. But you're not ever going to start him as your quarterback.
No, but I love it when he gets a punt and then he like fucking bulldozes people and you're like, that's a quarterback.
Or like whenever he makes a great like diving catch in the end zone or something, it's like it's a quarterback.
Yeah,
really? It's weird. All right, whatever. That's the New Orleans offense for you. So you guys both are on board with sticking with Drew Brees when he comes back, regardless. Or Zach, you were kind of iffy.
I mean, if I were calling the shots, I would play it by ear, but I say a lot of shit and would do a lot of shit that a lot of other people wouldn't, just because that's just my mindset, I guess. I mean, if your goal is to win and Drew Brees ain't helping you win, and Teddy Bridgewater was 5-0 up until this point, and Drew starts struggling, I don't know anything to Drew Brees other than his fucking paycheck that he's going to get. So I would roll with it. I mean, obviously you're going to give Drew the shot, and if he does well, great. But I think if he starts struggling and if he's not accurate because of that hand, I think it's a smart move to put Teddy back in there.
Smart business decision. Justin's with the loyalty.
Well, here's where I'm coming from too. I follow the NFC South closely. The Saints are 6-1, right? You got the Panthers without Cam Newton that are 4-2. They're probably going to drop quite a few games over.
They've been better without Cam Newton there. But
yeah, they have. But Cam's going to come back and they'll play Cam because that's how.
Yep. I don't think so. I don't think they do. I think Cam is effectively going to be shipped out after the season, and it's Allen's. I think it's Allen's team now.
I don't know. I hope so. I don't, because like I said, I want them to be sucky. The Buccaneers are 2-4, and my Falcons with Matt Ryan with a high ankle sprain, and God knows how long he's out. I couldn't tell you who our backup is because we ship him off because Matt Ryan never gets hurt. We are 1-6. So, hey, let Drew Brees go out there and take his fucking lumps.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they don't have much to lose. The division is basically theirs. So I could 100% see them just going with whatever Drew gives them. But if it were me, I wouldn't be into that.
Okay. Well, now let's travel east on I-10 over to Jacksonville and put yourselves in the same exact situation. And you've got Gardner Minshew, who has ignited a fan base and gotten a lot of people excited. And then you've got Nick Foles returning within the next few weeks. Who do you play here?
Yeah, that's a hard one. And I think that one's a lot more open to debate for the team because Nick Foles isn't the name that Drew is. Mm-hmm. They did pay him a lot, so I'm sure they're going to try to play him. But they have I have no issue with them keeping Minshew mania going. I don't know. That's a lot more up in the air than the Drew Brees scenario.
Justin?
I agree. Nick Foles has good games and he has bad games. Nick Foles is not Drew Brees. Not in the least bit. And like you said, Jacksonville, I mean, Minshew's brought more attention to Jacksonville than they've had in years.
I think if Nick Foles was doing as well as Minshew is, no one would give a shit.
No, you don't think Minshew's what Jacksonville? I mean, he's made Jacksonville huge this year.
I mean, 2 years ago they played in the AFC Championship game.
But still, I've heard about him more with Minshew than I did back when they played in the championship game.
And in the championship game, people were talking about their defense, and they were talking about Leonard Fournette. They weren't talking about Blake Bortles.
Well, no, because Blake Bortles sucks.
Right.
And what I'm getting at with all this is Minshew has been a polarizing figure.
Mm-hmm.
He's been a character that people have rallied around. He's not been that great on the field.
He's
been better than expected, but not great. Yeah, I would agree with that.
I said on Locker Room Talk a few weeks ago that after his 3-week mark in the league, he would start to regress. At that point, we were going into week 4 when I appeared on Locker Room Talk. Up until week 3, he had a 74.8 completion rate and had a 109.3 QBR. So he was setting the world on fire his first 3 games. His last 4 games are a 52.98 completion rate and an 83.82 QBR. Do you want to know what Blake Bortles' last 4 games as a Jacksonville Jaguar? About 2 points better than what I just read you for Minshew's.
Yeah, but Minshew hadn't had the time Blake Bortles had either. I think right now, 82% or 82 passer rating's probably middle of the league.
Yeah, it's not bad, but it's not like everyone's treating it like he set the world on fire.
He's putting butts in the seats.
That's about it. That to me isn't a reason to keep your $50 million quarterback who has more experience and has more skill sitting on the sidelines. But you play the players that are better.
But what if he's not better? What if he sucks too? You play him anyway because he's the guy getting paid.
I think that's the guy you got to go with. You don't snub that guy in favor of the rookie just because he's got a mustache.
Nick Foles has never really impressed me though, man. I mean, he's a decent quarterback, but I don't know. He just never really. I've never been like, holy shit, Nick Foles. No.
Well, so if he's not impressive, what do you think was the cause of the Eagles winning their Super Bowl?
Now at that time when he came in, that little streak, yes, he was impressive. But as a whole, as a quarterback, like as a whole work of art, not really. But that like little 3-4 game streak through the playoffs, yeah, he was on fire.
Yeah, so he's streaky.
Just like Minshew, the first 3 games, he was freaking on fire. He was unstoppable in that little. Just like what's his name from the Redskins. Daggone. Who's the quarterback for the Redskins?
I mean, it's been so many people. Colt McCoy?
No, not Colt McCoy. The one that came in last year and he came to the locker room. He said, "Y'all like that?"
Oh, yeah,
Cousins. Yeah, Cousins. Cousins had a little streak. Then he got sent off and he was supposed to be the starter. Now he's garbage.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, I mean, you talk about these guys when they're younger doing big stuff. Don't forget, Nick Foles has a jersey in Canton because he threw 7 touchdowns in 1 game.
Yep.
That was early in his career, and he then went on to win a Super Bowl and stuff like that. So he's proven, when he was young that he could do it. When he was in the middle of his career in Philly, that he was still capable of doing it. And, on the play that he got hurt on in Jacksonville was a touchdown pass. Mm-hmm. So everything he had done in Jacksonville up until getting hurt was a success.
Yeah, that's fair. And it doesn't seem like he's coming back too early. I don't know what his projected return date was in the first place.
About 8 weeks.
But I don't think he was one of those guys who was like, oh, he's coming back early or whatever. It seems like they were just kind of, especially when Minshew got hot, I think they were content with him just, going his full length of recovery.
Yeah. Coming into the season, everybody was excited about Nick Foles. They should still be excited about Nick Foles.
Yeah, but I do think if he does slack off a little bit, or if they lose a couple of games, people are going to be upset about it because, they're still hot on the Minshew train.
Yeah. Yeah, the guys on the Locker Room Talk, they put out a fucking T-shirt and everything. They're hot. They're all on some Minshew mania.
That's awesome.
That's the difference between him and Breeze, though. Like, that wouldn't happen for Breeze, but that would happen with Minshew.
And that's crazy because Teddy Bridgewater's 5-0.
Yeah, but Drew Brees also gave him, 20 winning seasons?
No, I mean, I get that, but Minshew's record is like, I don't even know if it's a winning record. I think they're like 3-4.
But Uncle Rico attends the games and shit.
I mean, that's exactly why people are like, no, we got to stick with Minshew.
Yeah, that's the world of the internet, man. Teddy Bridgewater is not in anyone's mind, but for whatever reason, Minshew grabbed the internet and just took off.
Yeah, they're 3-4. Like they're not even setting the world on fire, dude. You know,
That's all
whatever.
right. He's still Minshew, and like
He's still got that mustache.
and like Matt Ryan, as bad as we need him, I hope they set him out for the rest of the year.
Yeah, you said that. You hope that they tank for the rest of the season.
I
And
mean, what's the point? What's the point of bringing him back and him possibly getting hurt worse when we're 1-6? Let his ass sit out. He's making $100 million. Let him coach up somebody to make the backup better for the future, and let's draft for next year. I mean, our
so,
season's over.
do you think there is a possibility that you could lose out? Have you looked at the Falcons' schedule far enough in advance to be like, oh shit, we play the Dolphins?
At this point, I don't think it fucking matters who we play. We beat Philadelphia, which everybody's beating Philadelphia.
Apparently.
But I don't think it matters at this point. We're that bad. Our defense is horrible. It's not our offense. It's the defense has been bad for like 6 years. And we're getting like a piece here and a piece there, but we're not doing enough. And I think Dan Quinn needs to be fired, maybe be demoted to defensive coordinator. And we need to get him and Dimitrov out immediately because they started out great. But they haven't done shit since, and it's showing. We went from a 13-3 team to basically was winning the Super Bowl until all that crazy. I'm not going to talk about it.
Tom Brady broke your franchise.
Yeah.
What happened? Yeah, what happened with that?
we went from that year to being like fucking 5-10 or whatever, 5-11 to being fucking 1-6 now. I mean, how in the hell do you declare with the same players? It's not like we lost a bunch of fucking players. We have a healthy team that we haven't had in forever, and we're doing worse than when we had a banged up team.
That's true.
It don't make any sense, man.
Yeah. You guys could absolutely lose out if that was, in the cards.
Whoa. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. If they play the Dolphins, they make losing an art form.
That game will be so popular because it'll be the battle for the first pick. Whoever wins.
Hey,
people just stand there and stare at each other.
Yeah. Nobody
December 22nd, the Dolphins and the Bengals play each other.
My God.
They're both tossing an offer right now.
That's going to be like one of those train wreck games. You have to watch it to watch just the utter terribleness of it.
Well, I have to watch it because I need one of them to win because right now we're competing for a top pick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've got two teams that are tossing offers right now. And I think the Falcons and seems like one other team is one and whatever. Maybe
Probably
the Jets
or Redskins or something like that.
Oh, the Redskins are pretty miserable too. Yeah.
For the rest of the year, the Falcons have next week is Seahawks, Saints, Panthers,
Loss.
Buccaneers,
maybe a win.
Saints again,
Loss.
Panthers again,
yeah.
Niners, Jags, and Bucks.
Loss.
Yeah, those aren't like the best teams or the worst teams in the world, rather.
We'll split with the Bucks. We'll probably split with the Panthers because we always do.
Yep.
We normally split with the Saints, but not this year. So I'd say we win. We go 3-13.
That's fucking crazy.
So we go from 13-3 2 years ago to 3-13 with the same fucking team.
Yep, with a renowned quarterback and the highest paid wide receiver.
Yep. That's how we
the
do
the day Tom Brady broke the Falcons.
That's what happened. Dude, I can't even get mad no more. I used to get pissed off when we lost. I watched it the other day, and like I just turned the channel, like I wasn't even upset. And I was just like, what in the hell's wrong with me? Like I normally like break shit, get very mad. I just don't care anymore.
More of the same.
Yeah, and it's not even fun to kick you when you're down. It's I feel more bad for you this year than ever. And I'm the one sitting here with the bum fantasy team.
My fantasy team's the shit. But I did go 0-3 this week for the first time. I normally go 3-0 or 2-1. But I beat Zach though. But then he asked for the pizza right after, so I guess he kind of got me back.
Yeah, this was a rough week for me. I've got a lot of players on a bye, so it was a shit week.
One of my players that I really needed and depended on this week was Calvin Ridley, and of course with Matt Ryan not being there, that meant his value went way down.
Yep.
And then last night I made a game time decision to go with Carson Wentz instead of Dak, and that was an epic fail because I've rode with Dak for like 3 weeks in a row, and he sucked 3 weeks in a row. And before that, I was like, I don't trust Dak, so I'm not going to play him. But he was putting up 30-point games. So, motherfucker, every week except for I think once, I've picked the wrong quarterback.
That's how it works. You know,
Go ahead.
You were saying that Calvin Ridley didn't do anything for you. I've had that same kind of thing with Juju this year. He has been dog shit because Big Ben is out. And he was my second pick. I'm so disappointed in that pick. Dude, it's got to be all because Big Ben's out.
James Conner, same exact situation. With Big Ben going out, his productivity plummeted.
Yep.
You know, anytime these star quarterbacks drop, like other players suffer.
Yep.
That's why the Saints have been an anomaly because Teddy Bridgewater just came in and was like, "Oh yeah, I can be a competent backup." You know, when the Jets didn't have Sam Darnold in there, they sucked. But with him in there, they came in and, cleaned house.
Yeah, they're decent.
Yeah, and they play the Pats on Monday Night Football, and that's a game that it's going to be interesting, I think.
Is that tonight?
Yeah. And for fantasy, I need Le'Veon Bell to score like 22 points or something like that. When I went to bed last night, I should have only needed like 8. Motherfucking wins shit the bed.
Yeah. Can we talk about that for a second? Because
yes, absolutely.
Of all the teams that can't beat the Cowboys, the fucking Eagles can't beat the fucking Cowboys.
They can't even fucking show up to Dallas Stadium.
Who did the Cowboys lose to last week?
The Jets.
It was some dumbass team, but the fucking Eagles can't lose to them. I watched that game. I had the Eagles on defense, which they've been terrible as well. I was just like, the Cowboys lose to all these dumbass teams, and you'd think that a division rival who plays them all the damn time could figure out how to beat them, but they
nope. Yep. Eagles suck worse than the Cowboys.
I'm glad they won though, because my wife's mother, my mother-in-law, huge Dallas fan, like huge, and her and my wife's brother went to Dallas.
Oh, that's right. You talked about
the
that
game
last episode.
And she called my wife crying when she got to the stadium. She was crying because she got to see. She was inside Dallas. That's how big of a fan she is, because she was inside Dallas Stadium. So I'm glad they won for her. I was kind of pulling for them last night.
That's gotta hurt.
Yeah,
but
man,
I've also been pulling for a Texas team lately, but not in football. You know, Zach and I jumped on the Astros bandwagon back in July whenever they signed Greinke, and we said that they were going to win the World Series.
Absolutely.
And so I had to cheer them on. They beat the Yankees in Game 6 there in Houston, and now they're on their way to face the surprise Washington Nationals, who
saw that coming.
Yeah, no, but it's interesting that the Nationals and the Astros are the two teams to square off in the World Series, because they're the two teams that paid the most for their pitching staffs. The Nationals pay like $77 million, and the Astros are like $70 million this year alone for their 3 starting studs.
Yeah, I saw a stat a little bit ago, and I think maybe you had posted it, that the Astros pay something like $40 million for Verlander and Cole alone.
Yeah. And that was when they were playing the Rays. I remember posting that because they get paid like $47 million or whatever, and the Rays' entire team was only like $53 million.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The Rays had the lowest payroll in all of baseball, and they still made the playoffs, which kudos to them. That's badass.
Yep. I think with this World Series, we're at least in the realm of getting some good pitchers duels.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it's lining up that way, especially if they all stay as hot as they have been. Garrett Cole has been lights out this postseason for the most part, and then you can't ignore what the Nationals did to the Cardinals in that series. They completely blanked the Cards.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and if you get Scherzer versus Cole and stuff like that, Good luck hitting balls.
Right. And that's a dream matchup for people that like good baseball, good pitching matchups, and the baseball that everybody else says is really boring.
That's what I was getting ready to say. For the average fan that tunes in for the World Series, they could have a chance to be bored out of their mind during this series because of that.
And I think that's going to hurt that. And also, if this whole, unjuiced ball thing is true, then that's going to hurt it too.
Imagine if they juiced the ball again for the World Series and all of a sudden, like, bunts are flying 600 feet.
Yeah. 6 home runs hit off of Garrett Cole in the first inning.
Nobody can quite figure out what's going on. Oh, wait, here comes Scherzer. Grand slam.
MLB says it's not the ball.
Fuck. Yeah. We swear we haven't changed the ball. So, I've been obviously laughing my ass off ever since the Nationals secured the spot that Bryce Harper has to be just sitting there just beside himself that he's not part of this. After being in the Nationals organization for 7 years and getting close several times, they finally do it without you, bro.
And he called it earlier this year.
Yeah, he said we're just trying to bring a title back to DC. I mean Philly.
Yeah, that was like a day or something after he signed that mega contract, and he just put his foot right in his mouth.
I don't think he gives a shit. He seems like the type that he's just in it for the money. He could care less.
Yeah, he probably could care less. I would assume if he has friends on the Nationals team that he's probably stoked for those guys. But for the most part, he's like, well, I'm getting $300 million, so fuck you.
And to that point, Bryce Harper, Manny Machado, Nolan Arenado, Mike Trout, all those guys that signed mega deals in last offseason, they all missed the playoffs.
Yep, they've all been sitting at home since August.
The Rockies, they had to make a move that I guess they didn't see when they decided to give Arenado that big deal, and that was they had to get rid of and not pay DJ LeMahieu. LeMahieu went to New York and then put up damn near MVP numbers half the season.
Yeah, he lit the world on fire.
He was great in New York, and he was great in Colorado before they traded him or gave him up or whatever it was that they ended up happening. I didn't really follow the transactions, but that had to be a move to make room for Arenado's salary.
Yeah, they were last in their division this year.
That just goes back to what we were talking about a few weeks ago. You pay these few guys so much money, the rest of the team suffers.
Absolutely.
It's true in every sport. Basketball is the only one that can kind of get away with it because they have max contract deals and set limits to where this is the max these players can get.
Yep.
What are you shaking your head for there, Justin?
I was just reading something. I didn't want to bring it up. It's about football. I don't want to backtrack.
Oh,
but
it's
really good. Did you see the Clemson guy that punched a guy at the end of the game there and got ejected against Louisville? It says here that Dabo Sweeney made him ride the bus back with the rest of the personnel, and the rest of the team took the plane. They made him ride 438 miles on a bus back. And he said that's where it starts. He said, we'll handle the rest when he gets here. That's badass.
That's amazing.
Yeah, good for him. If more coaches acted like that, I bet you would have less players acting stupid.
I can imagine that dude getting ready to get on the plane and Sweeney being like, nope, motherfucker, get on the bus.
Yep, you're riding with us, or whoever rides the bus.
He said it was like the team managers and shit.
It's kind of fucked up. Like the team gets to fly on a plane, but the people that are the behind the scenes people get to fucking ride a bus.
Well, because they got to bring that big bus that has all the equipment, and the jerseys, and all the stuff that won't fit on the plane.
That they don't fly that shit.
No, because they bring. I watched a special. Alabama was the special I watched. They bring 150 pair of shoes.
Oh wow!
Just so each player has 3 different pairs they can pick from, and they'll bring 5 jerseys of every player. They'll bring 3 helmets of every player. They got a whole mega Hue Hall full of equipment.
Wow.
Just so the players, like 10 pair of gloves for a receiver. Just unnecessary shit.
That's what you have to do with all that money that you make when you can't turn around and give it to the players.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alabama said that each game, their players have 5 different pair of cleats to choose from, and they take them to every fucking game, multiple pair, in case they rip a pair or something.
That's ridiculous.
I wish I could remember what the video's title was, but I watched something similar about hockey and like what the equipment managers and stuff have to do. And this one specifically was for the Penguins. And the equipment manager, in between periods, had to sharpen several players' skates.
I saw that.
Yeah, did you see that with Sidney Crosby? Yeah. His skates sharpened between every period, and they have to do so much shit. And like if somebody gets something on their jersey or whatever, they have to like stitch a new one up or whatever.
Those happen so fast too.
Yeah, those dudes never get any recognition.
Like,
and then they have to ride a bus.
Yeah, I know. Well, Crosby came over there and just like stuck his foot up, and the dude sharpened it right there, and he went right back to skating. Like it was like a matter of seconds.
That's wild. Are you planning to watch the World Series, Justin?
Yeah, I'm going to watch it. I've kind of watched baseball since the Braves lost.
Have you?
Cool. Trying to get back into it. Like I said, man, I grew up playing baseball my whole life, played tons of ball, and I just kind of fell out of love with it. But hearing you guys talk about it all the time, I've been trying to keep up a little bit.
Yeah, it's a sport, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And you guys have a great ball club, you know. Despite the loss, they have young talent.
Even though I don't keep up with it, this is the first year I haven't went, but I usually go to about 2 or 3 Braves games a year because it's only, 3.5, 4 hours down the road. So we try to go and take the kids every year.
And even closer to you, Justin, the Johnson City Cardinals, they won their division championship this year.
Yep. Like Elizabeth Twins are doing good too.
So you can go see local baseball, and those are professional baseball players that come through there. This year in Jacksonville, it's 2A ball. I saw Martin Prado, MLB player, come through. He was on injury rehab, and he was just playing here in Jacksonville on a Saturday afternoon.
That's cool.
I know we try to go. The Cardinals have Taco Tuesday every Tuesday, and tacos are $1 and beers are $1. So try to go like to that. So it's like $2 to get you a taco and a beer.
That ain't bad.
It's usually packed. Yeah, Taco Tuesday is the best game.
Yeah, those minor league stuff are great for kids because they don't fucking know the difference between this guy and that guy. They're just watching a game. So that's a fun thing to do with the family.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a little more pricey to go to the World Series. So for those games, we just usually watch on TV. Yep. And this year, I'm excited. I think it's going to be a good pitching matchup, but I think it has the opportunity to have the wheels blown off of it because I really like the Astros offense. The way that they have their batting lineup with Correa and Altuve, and then Brantley batting in the 3-hole is great because he's a hit machine.
Yeah.
And then you got Bregman cleaning it all up. So it's very nice. And they produce runs early.
Yeah. George Springer is real hot too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Springer dinger left and right. He's
insane.
Yeah. That's who's leadoff, not Correa. Springer is their leadoff. And he gets on base. And Altuve doubles machine,
Absolutely. Yeah.
I saw this video of Altuve, and he was standing beside a guy that was like maybe 6'5".
Yeah, that's
he was real short, and he said this big guy has 1 home run, and then it showed him, and it said he's got 5 already or whatever.
Yeah.
Yep. That was beside Aaron Judge. He's tall. He might be like 6'7", 6'8".
I thought he was 6'7".
Yeah, he's pretty big guy, and Altuve is one of the shortest in baseball.
Yeah.
And that's what another reason that baseball is so great is you can be a smaller guy and still perform on the biggest stage with the biggest lights on,
Yeah, baseball evens the playing field when it comes to physical stature.
Yeah, Aaron Judge is 6'7".
Yeah. Yeah, the Astros are dangerous because they have both sides of the plate covered. They've got dominant pitching and they've got phenomenal hitting. So, and I think the Nationals kind of do too. So it's going to be a tight series. I expect it to go 6-7 games.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I don't think it's going to be a blowout either way, but I think the Astros will end up raising the trophy at the end of the day.
Yeah. I don't know who I want to root for because
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
I like the Astros and I think they're real good, but imagine the story of the Nationals being a wild card team. They just get rid of their star player and they make it all the way and win. Like that's a pretty cool story.
I like the story of the Nationals so much better, and I want them to win because it's the first time in their team's history that they're even in this game. But just my logic tells me that it's going to be the Astros. But if you ask me who I want to win, I'll say the Nationals. If you ask me who I think will win, I'll say the Astros.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So, but I'm like you, Zach. I'm just hoping for a good series and entertaining baseball.
Yeah. Do we know what day is the game one?
Might be tomorrow or Wednesday.
I know it's
Let me look.
quick.
Yeah, I'll look it up real quick just so we can. Game 1 is tomorrow, so Tuesday,
Nice.
and then game 2 is Wednesday.
Sweet. Yeah, I know they had a hard start date for the World Series, and I can't remember what game it was of the ALCS, but they had to postpone it. And if they had to postpone another one, they were going to start having to do double headers.
Yeah, as it is in the ALCS, they had to play the final 3 games in a row.
Yep.
One game was in New York, and then they lost their travel day.
Yep.
So they had to fly, and then the next day play in Houston for a game. So it's tough, but that's what they had to do.
Right. Yep. I'm excited for it. It's going to be fun. I think Monday Night Football is going to be good tonight too.
Yeah, I'm excited to get to that whenever we're done here, and I'm going to be watching. Hopefully the Pats can pull it out and remain undefeated. I don't know what would happen if the 49ers were the only remaining undefeated team in the league. That would be just crazy to me.
Yeah.
But there are a few other things that I want to talk about before we go, and it's kind of jumping all over the place. So Justin, it was fine that you wanted to jump back to football, because I've got just some other notes that I don't have a lot to say on the topic, but I just want to throw it out there and see what's up.
Sure.
Joe Madden hired by the Angels, I think, is a great move.
Absolutely. Didn't you call that?
Yeah, I did. I said that that's where he needed to go, and I'm glad that he did, because they need no shit leadership in that organization, and I think Joe can provide that.
Yeah, for sure. I kind of thought he would go with the Dodgers, but I don't know if they didn't offer him or whatever that happened there. But
well, they haven't officially let Dave go yet.
Yeah, which is kind of interesting.
That is. It makes me wonder what they are thinking or what they are doing. Zion hasn't played a single NBA minute, and he's already had his first NBA surgery, and he's going to be out for about 8 weeks.
Yep.
Called it.
Yeah, Justin said that Zion was going to be a flop, and so far, I mean, not looking good. I hope he doesn't end up a Greg Oden 2.0.
If I'm not mistaken, I even mentioned that how with the NBA pushing on him that he would have knee problems because of his size, and I happened way sooner than I thought it would. But
Yeah, if you remember, I think he played in the G League or whatever their developmental league is, and it was like his first game, and he had a knee issue or something, and so they shut him down for that whole series or whatever you call it. That he
The
was
whole mini season or whatever it was that they were doing. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that.
and he's young. He's what, 19, 20?
Yeah, he's a
Yeah,
kid.
yeah.
He's already having knee problems. He's huge. He runs like he's a point guard. His knees are not going to be able to keep up with that. And if he's blowing out shoes like he is, I mean, you know that he's just pounding the hardwood. So, that's scary.
Yeah, not looking good. Silver lining is that might mean a better draft pick for the Pelicans next year.
yeah.
So whatever. Tua going out. We mentioned that briefly earlier. In the Tennessee game, Tua did get injured. Late in the first half, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it was early.
But early in the first half.
No, it was in the second quarter. So
Yeah, I thought it was toward like getting closer to halftime.
I
yeah,
thought
but
too.
yeah, it was.
Okay. Uh, he had a little minor procedure done to his ankle, intended to strengthen the tendons in and around his bones, I guess, and expects to make a full recovery. He's expected to miss 2 weeks, which means that he would miss one game because they only face Arkansas during that time, and then they have their bye week. So Tua would be coming back against LSU on
Tough comeback.
November 9th. That is a very tough game to come back on. Is that a situation to where we think you might come back too soon and risk permanent injury?
I mean, but if he don't come back, like I said, we about beat that quarterback that they brought in was garbage.
Not
And if
good.
he don't come back, LSU will beat the shit out of Alabama.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
they will. I think LSU might beat Alabama regardless.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good game. I think Tennessee would have beat Alabama if that other guy would have started.
Yeah. Or
Or-
if Bauer could have played the whole game.
Yep.
I think it would have made it a lot more interesting.
Mhm.
Greg Hardy, using an inhaler, gets a fight that he won overturned.
Yep. That was
He
wild.
deserves it.
That was wild.
He knew
Yeah,
the rules.
But apparently he was told that he could use his inhaler.
Yeah, I heard something where he got cleared through USADA to use that.
Now, I wonder if USADA was saying, yeah, you can use it. It's not going to make you pop on a piss test. But the rules are that you can't use it during the fight.
Yeah, that's what I'm maybe thinking. Like
That's
maybe
what I kind of am leaning to as well.
That's
Yeah.
a huge advantage, man. That's to give you air. So if you're exhausted, everybody be having an inhaler in the corner.
yeah.
You know?
Well, his rebuttal to that was it evens the playing field for him because he has asthma, so he's already at a disadvantage.
Bullshit. Yeah, that's a cop out or
Not
whatever.
a new
But
sport, motherfucker.
Yeah, why are you fighting if you have asthma?
that's like Brock Lesnar fighting and being like, "Oh yeah, I have diverticulitis. That's why I lost." That's why Cain Velasquez kicked me in the ribs and I tapped out.
Yeah. Speaking of losses, my buddy JSP went up there to fight Joe Lozon. Unfortunately, that's a hell of a fight to fight in your first main card of the UFC. He got hit with a rod about a minute in, and he got basically pounded. They stopped the fight at a minute and 33 seconds.
Yeah, he got beat pretty quickly, pretty soundly. I watched that fight and I was cheering for him, but it ended quickly.
That's not normally what I mean. He got caught, and Lozon was just he got that right arm stuck, and it was a wrap. I mean, there's nothing he could have done right there. But he's tough. He would have never tapped. He'd have just went out.
Yeah, and he was eating some shots too. He had his arm pinned back above his head or whatever, and he was just eating clean shots from Joe. And the hometown crowd was eating it up because, that was their boy.
Yeah, I remember Justin saying that during that guy's Contender Series, it was him, right, where he was in the Contender Series, and Dana took a whole bunch of.
He took all 5 of them that won.
Yeah. I think by doing that, he intended to throw several of them to the fire and just see what played out, and this is what happened. So,
he must have thought highly of GSP because normally they'll fight like a unknown in the UFC. It's very rare that you see a guy that won out of the Contender Series have his first fight against somebody like Joe Lozon, and like I said, that's very rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I see Zach's point too. Give them that big challenge early to see if they're gonna be propelled to superstardom, and they get their next like Conor McGregor out off of this deal or some shit.
Right. Yeah.
He's still got 2 more fights. He's guaranteed 3.
Hopefully he gets a good matchup for him and he fights a smart fight. You said he got caught. That's the same thing I've been preaching for a long time. Just because you get caught doesn't mean that guy can beat you all the time.
Right.
You got caught once, you might not get caught again.
We actually thought it was going to be a good matchup. JSP's cardio is unlike anything I've ever seen in my life. And I thought that he, matched up well with Lozon, even though he's got all the experience. But my sister showed me, she was there. She showed me the video up close. And as soon as he got hit right in the chin with that right, and it dropped him, and that was basically it.
Hit the off.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I mean, it happens, but like you said, he's got 2 more, so we'll be cheering for him on those 2 fights, and hopefully he starts picking up some dubs.
Oh yeah, like I said, that's his first loss in I think 4 or 5 years.
That's good. So
Yeah.
he'll get back on track.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm out of stuff to talk about. You guys got anything?
I'm good.
You're good. You're good. All right. Well, we went a little long tonight, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for downloading, and be sure to check back next Monday, next Tuesday, next week, whenever you listen to our podcast. It'll be there. Don't worry. Till then, peace.
Stay connected with Brandon and Zach on Facebook and Instagram at The Best Podcast. And tune in next week for a brand new episode. And thanks for listening.